Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Cantonese speaking. Today we are going to talk about a brief history of Cantonese. Hong Kong Cantonese is one of the most elegant and time-honored languages in the whole world. With a history of at least 3,000 years, it is a living fossil of orthodox Chinese culture, an active embodiment of ancient Han languages, organically combined with the ancient indigenous languages of the Pak Yuet people, Pak Yuet meaning 100 Yuet, who inhabited Lingnam, that is the southern area of China. The Pak Yuet language family includes highly tonal languages found in southern China, northeast India, and southeast Asia, such as Thai and Lao. Phonologically and grammatically, these indigenous languages are closer to ancient Han languages than Manchurian, Mongolian, and Putonghua or Mandarin. Invasions from the south. Ever since the Han Dynasty, that is 206 BC to 220 AD, central Han China had often been invaded by barbarian tribes from the north. For example, the Huns, the Mongolians, and the Manchurians, which drove the Han people to migrate from central China to southern China and merge with the Pak Yuet people there, genetically and linguistically. Owing to generations of separation by passes, by fortresses, by mountains, Lingnam, southern China, especially Hong Kong, has remained relatively unpolluted by northern barbarians, so that the periphery has actually retained the classical Han pronunciation and the Tang style. Southern heroes. Moreover, throughout histories, many intellectuals and scholars moved from central China to southern China to teach because they were relegated by the emperor or by the central government for persisting in their dissident political views. Thus, the temperament of the Cantonese people places a premium on honor, and it has produced revolutionary heroes like Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Cantonese and the West. Towards the end of the Qing Dynasty, 1911, and during the early Republican years, Cantonese come into close contact with the West, as a result of which its phonology and as a vocabulary were further enriched. Ancient native languages of Pak Yuet, that is 100 Yuet, elegant languages of China, of the central China, of the Han and the Tang dynasties, and loanwords from the West, having mingled with one another for thousands of years, finally formed a most lively, a most sophisticated, and a most mature language, that is modern Cantonese. During Britain's 150-year reign of Hong Kong Cantonese was conserved rather than ruined, and it developed steadily and it developed sturdily in the government, in the councils, in the media, in the schools, in the courts, and other official occasions. Cantonese and English were de facto official spoken languages. Due to communist schooling in Putonghua and intra-colonization in China, nowadays only half of the Canton population in China speak only Putonghua. Around half of the Canton population speak only Putonghua. The pronunciation, the syntax, and the vocabulary of the Cantonese language in Canton, China are severely interfered by Putonghua, Hong Kong Cantonese has actually become the center instead of the periphery of orthodox Chinese culture and languages. However, many Cantonese words and phrases are so old that their correct form of writing are often forgotten. And modern Cantonese speakers have invented informal words and characters for them, giving them an uncouth and provincial look. For example, 後生, young, and youngster is often mistaken for a colloquial phrase, while actually it has been continuously used in Chinese classics like Confucius and Elegance for 3,000 years. In view of this, I have compiled the Elegant Cantonese Dictionary, Yuet Qi Jing Di, Part 1, Part 2, and more to come, in order to trace the elegant and time-honored origins of Cantonese words and phrases. Incarnations of Putonghua. Putonghua is derived from the official language of Nanjing of the early the early Ming Dynasty, which was grossly contaminated by the Mongolian and by the Manchurian languages during the Yuan Dynasty and the Qing Dynasty. Comparison between Cantonese and Putonghua, conserving ancient Han pronunciations, ancient Han characters, ancient Han phrases, and ancient Han grammar. Cantonese, in particular, Hong Kong Cantonese, is vastly more elegant than Mandarin or Putonghua. In respect of pronunciation, Cantonese conserves and preserves check tone syllables, that is, syllables ending in a stop consonant or a glottal stop like P, T, K, and lip closing syllables, that is, syllables ending in M like hum. Actually, classical poetry of the Tang and the Song Dynasty are best recited and sung in the Cantonese language, as it is closest to the Han languages used in those eras. Examples of ancient elegant phrases in Cantonese include "tak han," meaning having leisure, or "hao sang," meaning young, "gak lei," neighboring, all of which can be found in Chinese classics and are much more refined than their Putonghua or Mandarin counterparts. The kind of ancient Han style as conserved by Cantonese generally includes 4 or 6 characters per clause or per sentence, sonorousness, use of couplets or antitheses, progressive layers of meaning, as exemplified in Dixon Tong's 1957 Hong Kong Cantonese opera classics, 帝女花, Flower Princess. Cantonese is a language rather than a dialect. Cantonese has a history of 3,000 years, as aforementioned, while Putonghua, even counting Nanjing government language, has a history of only a few hundred years. So Cantonese cannot possibly be a dialect in relation to Putonghua. The other way round may be more reasonable. Today, there are around 0.1 billion Cantonese speakers all over the world. How can such a language possibly be a dialect? Learn Cantonese and you will grasp the 3,000-year-old beauty of classical China. Thank you very much. See you.